Hi everybody, welcome to In the Kitchen with Delightful Donna. Today we're gonna make green chili stew. This is one of the most favorite recipes in my household. My husband absolutely loves it. He grew up eating this. So stay tuned for tips and tricks and my recipe for green chili stew. Hi everyone, welcome back to In the Kitchen with Delightful Donna. I'm gonna get started making some green chili. And if you guys remember, we roasted these green chilies that I ordered fresh from Hatch, New Mexico. So I got another box in and roasted those. So I have about, this is a good, I don't know, 3-4 pounds already roasted. And they're already peeled, ready to go. So we're gonna chop those up. First, I'm gonna start by chopping some potatoes. I have 6 small red potatoes here. Not too small. Do each side in about 6 pieces and just put them in this bowl so that they'll be ready to go. So green chili in our family is a family recipe, and this came from my husband's grandmother, and it's one of his favorite meals. And today we're making it with ground beef. You can make it with pork, you could make it with beef chunks. My husband likes it best with ground beef. So I'm just gonna keep chopping these up. I've already pre-chopped my onions and my garlic to save a little time on the camera. And of course, like I always tell you guys, my produce is washed before I come on. All right, last one. All right, now we're gonna chop up these green chilies. This is a rough chop. These don't have to be chopped precisely. There's some of this out. This is a rustic stew type of meal, so they don't need to be perfect. So I'm probably gonna use about half of this bag. We'll see how far we get. You want these in about, I don't know, what is that, maybe 1-inch chunks or so. And you can leave the seeds in. These aren't very spicy. They have such great flavor though, you guys. I wish you could smell them because they smell delightful right now. Okay, I have 2 tomatoes that I've peeled, and I'm just gonna chop those. And then we'll have, everything will be chopped at that point, and we'll make our way to the stove. As you can see, this bag, I used about 2/3 of the bag, so I don't know. I'm bad at judging weight, but maybe a couple pounds of the chilies. So tomatoes are chopped, and I will see you at the stove. Okay, now we're gonna turn on our pan to medium-high heat. Gonna let that heat up a little bit. I'm using a enamel-coated cast iron Dutch oven. Kind of my favorite pan to cook in, especially when I make stews and things like that. Add about a tablespoon of oil. Not too much, but I have really lean ground beef, so I want to put a little bit of oil in there so it doesn't stick. I'm using about 2 3/4 pounds of ground beef. This is 7% fat. This is very lean. And we're just going to crumble that into the pan. Break it up a little bit. Okay, now I'll wash my hands. We're gonna brown this ground beef in that little bit of oil that we put in there. We're gonna add some onions and garlic and some seasonings to get it happy. And you don't want to chop it up too fine. You want it to be in bigger chunks. Okay, we'll let that cook for a few minutes. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit of color on the meat, so we're gonna start adding in some of our flavor enhancement. So this is half of a chopped yellow onion. And 4 cloves of minced garlic. And then we'll continue to cook this until it's almost all the way brown. Doesn't have to be completely brown, but almost. You want to start getting those veggies a little bit tender. We're going to add some seasonings now. I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of roasted cumin. And a half teaspoon of Mexican oregano. Remember, we always rub that between our palms to release the oils. And a teaspoon of salt, which is 2 of these little spoons in my spice caddy. And a half teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, just about there. Let that cook for about a minute or a minute and a half. Okay, it's almost browned. Now this next step is optional. You don't have to do this part. We like ours a little bit more on the creamy, thick side when it's all done. So I'm gonna add about 1/4 cup of flour and just stir that in. And like I said, that's optional. You don't have to do that. If you like it more like soup, then don't add the flour. Okay, now that that's stirred in, we'll add the rest of our ingredients. I'm gonna add all those green chilies that we chopped. I'm gonna add the 2 tomatoes that we chopped and the juices that came out of them for flavor. And we're gonna add those potatoes that we chopped up. See, this makes a full pot. I'm gonna stir that around a little bit and then we'll add some water. I just want to get it incorporated. Get some of those potatoes down inside. Okay, that looks pretty good for now. Now we're gonna add water. I am gonna add probably about 1.5 cups. That's about a cup and about 1.5 cups. I'll stir one more time. The handles get really hot on this, so I should have a pot holder, but I don't. Okay, so now we have that all stirred up. We're gonna put the lid on. And we're gonna turn it down to simmer. Very low flame, guys. And we're gonna let that go for about 30 to 45 minutes. We'll come back and check on it at 30 and see how it looks and see if we can get ready to plate it up. Okay, so it's been about 15 or 20 minutes. I just wanted to give it a little check and see how it's doing. And looks like it's doing good so far. Just give it a little stir. You can tell that the ground beef is pretty much done now. And here you could taste it for extra seasoning if you want. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer because I'm gonna wait until some of the flavors from the green chilies incorporate a little bit more before I taste it for seasoning. So we'll put the lid back on, we'll cook it for another 20 minutes or so and check it again. Okay, it's been about 10 or 15 minutes. We're just gonna take the lid off, give it another check. Really checking to make sure that those potatoes are done now. Oh my goodness, you guys. I wish there was smell-o-vision. I know I say that in every video, but my goodness, you guys, this smells so good. Listen, it took me a lot of years to become comfortable with my own cooking and to really like what I cook, but this is delicious and I can't wait to eat it. All right, let me just test those potatoes really quick. I'm gonna grab a fork. Just want your fork to go into the potato easily. Oh yeah, went in They're pretty nice. Looks pretty good. Let's check another one just to be sure. Oh, they look pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna let this go just a couple of minutes. I turned the flame up a little bit higher to just about medium, and I'm gonna let it reduce down just slightly. You see the sauce is very creamy now. I'd like it just a touch thicker though. That's the way my family likes it. So I'm gonna let it go on medium high. And guys, I have a secret. I'm sure you can peep these things on the side here. So check my videos in a couple of days for those. Okay, it's been about 20 more minutes and let's give it a little check here. Look at that. Wow, it looks great. So it's thickening up nicely. Off camera, guys, I did check it and I gave it another teaspoon of salt, just so you know. Always check your food at different stages of cooking so that you make sure it's seasoned properly. You know, nothing worse than getting to the table and you're like, this is so bland. Like, you want it to have flavor. All right, so now we're just waiting on these potatoes to get done. They look like they're about halfway there. Once the potatoes are done, we're ready. And you can see how nice that juice thickened up for us, and it'll thicken a little bit more beyond that. All right, yeah, it's really close, guys. Maybe we'll call it 10 more minutes. Okay, we are all done. Those potatoes are nice and tender. The sauce has thickened up nicely, and now we're gonna plate it up. Okay, here we have it plated up, or should I say bowled up, because it's a stew. We put it in a bowl. It's really steamy hot, but I'm gonna try to take a little taste of this. Let me get a little bit of the potato. You see how tender those potatoes are. A little bit of meat. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. Mmm. Mmm. So hot. That is really good. It's not super spicy. It does have a kick to it, but it's not overly spicy. It has really good flavor. It's seasoned well. The potatoes are nice and tender. Tastes a little bit creamy. The ground beef is cooked well. Nice big chunks in there. This is really good, you guys. I hope you make this for your family. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at cooking_with DD. And like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell on our YouTube channel, In the Kitchen with Delightful Donna. Thanks for watching. Bye.